Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're back again with EVE Online. We're very thankful that we can be back again. It's a little over a month hiatus. We're kind of, sitting off for a little while, but we're back again. As you can see right now, we're fitting a Legion. Right now it's set for cloaking nullification. What it can do is fit a covert op cloak. It can cloak while warping. Very nice, especially for dangerous places such as nullsec or where we've been hanging out more recently, Wormhole space. So I'll give you guys a little head up into the story, what happened over this last month or so since we've been posting. A couple of days after we had been posting, the corporation I was part of, which is part of the corporations I was part of, which is part of the Alliance, Fatal Ascension, also known as FA, which is part of the coalition of the CFC, which is absolutely huge in nullsec right now. Some of my people, one of the Diplos, I think, if I remember correctly, one of the Diplos for the Alliance had been watching some stuff on my channel and made the connection between me and the channel. I don't know if it wasn't necessarily I hadn't told them. Look, we got Dr. Awesome. He's flying with us side by side. He's in an anathema right now, little scanning a Mark covert op ship, also capable of cloaking while warping when we need to. So, both ships can cloak while warping. This ship they can both set to scan. The other one's actually set really well to scan. I got a bunch of mods and rigs and stuff set up so he can do my scanning really well for me. But after the Alliance found out, they talked for a while. I think it was like 24 hours or something like that. They ended up talking to all the different leadership people in the Alliance, and they decided that they wouldn't. They asked me to leave, more like saying get out, but they're just being nice about it. Thankfully, they were nice though. They gave me enough time as I needed to get all my stuff out. I did liquidate my assets. You lose money on that, but I didn't lose too much. It wasn't that bad. I have lost more money recently than I have to worry about with nullsec liquidating assets. So I liquidated my assets, flew my one toon out, which was out there. Dr. Awesome was not a part of that. He was still in faction warfare. And my other toons still hadn't left the station yet, even though he was trained to fly some capital ships. He was pretty much just sitting there training skills. Not making me any money, which I probably should have had him go out and make me some money. Which started my next endeavor. As soon as I got back to Jeddah, which I just flew straight to Jeddah, I was like, there's a good point to base myself from for whatever I decide to do next. I had this lovely thought. Let's go to Wormhole space. Because wormholers are supposed to make tons of money. They whelp ships that are worth hundreds of millions and billions of ISK for fun. So I was like, let's go try it. I want to go try Wormhole space. They make a ton of money. Sometimes, sometimes just get destroyed all the time and don't make any money. Actually, go really far in debt really fast. But what I've heard, they make a lot of money. Not only do they make a lot of money, it's also an even more dangerous than nullsec area. In its way, in some ways, it is safer. Through ignorance, it could be safer. There's also other things. So, fun differences from nullsec to Wormhole space. Wormhole space doesn't have local. Well, it has local, but not everyone pops up in it. You can only see through directional scanning, or unless you have probes out, like combat probes, you can see ships. But other than that, it's all visual. There's no, unless someone types in local, they post in local, and it stays in there until whoever saw it logs out, or something like that. I'm not 100% sure how that works. But no one automatically pops up in local. You could jump into a wormhole. You could fly to a planet. There might not be anything in there. There might be customs offices that have been set up by players because they are not automatically set up. Or there could be nothing. You could warp in there and see nothing in the system. Nothing nowhere. But if those people are cloaked, there could be 60 people all around you, just greater than 2 kilometers away, and you'd have no idea. Just like the system is empty. There could be tons of people cloaked all around you, and you'd never know. It's creepy. I like it. Tons of fun. So, I went up and looked for Wormhole Corporation Alliance. We're jumping through these systems. I'm trying to get into our new hole, which I'll explain how all that goes. I found an alliance corporation, not necessarily so much an alliance. Found a corporation that I like. I interviewed with them. They're super great. The Diplo was awesome. He was great fun. And so, I got in with them. They enjoyed a very luxurious type of wormhole. Probably arguably, in my mind, probably one of the best wormholes you can possibly have as a home system. This wormhole was a C6, which is the most dangerous level and also the most lucrative level of wormhole, and had the Magnetar special effect, which doubles turret missile damage. You take half hits to all that stuff. Let's go look at what I lost coming out of that wormhole. We got evicted by Russians, and that was not fun. I don't have many kills in there. Don't worry about that. So, I bought Archon. for running escalation fleets where we were killing lots of sleepers. Not a cheap kill. It was fit for those escalations mostly. I did not bring a full fit with it because I rushed it into the hole as fast as I could. This is about a week before the Russians came in and decided to kick us all out of this hole because it's such a nice hole. So I had to pack up everything I could, including me and Malik, who is brother in real life and friend on Eve as well. We play a lot of games together. You guys have seen him in a couple of videos, including the Civ 5 series from a long ways back. Him and my ships, I tried to rush out as quick as I could. As you can see here, without the hull, I don't think it counts the hull, does it? 3.6 billion ISK loss. Big loss. I ended up buying plexes to afford that money because I was impatient. So, I got a decent buy on the ship, but that doesn't mean anything because it got blown up. As you see, there's a Naglfar, Nidhogger, and several T3s with fighters assigned, more likely than not by another Nid, or the same Nid, who knows. So, they all got me. I thought it'd be really entertaining trying to sneak out of here. I had my own POS at the time. I was manufacturing POS fuel and using several of my tunes to use the PI to build POS fuel. I'd imported a bunch of it. I mean, hundreds of millions of ISK with ice products to help build the POS fuel because you can't get ice products in Wormhole space. We'll talk in a little bit further in depth about all this if we go around through talking how to build POS fuel and how to sustain yourself in a wormhole. So, we're warping through. We're still warping through high sec. No big worries. Low sec should be not a worry. Null sec, I do want to make sure my anathema goes first. We'll see if I can get that happen or not. We'll just bump through and see what we can do. So, what we were looking at is I lost that Archon. I'll tell you the fun story about what happened. I had warped my anathema, Dr. Awesome PhD's anathema, warped him forward to go under the hole to get out. There was 2 or 3 holes I think 1 or 2 holes I had to fly through, so 2 or 3 jumps before I landed in low sec or null sec. I think it was a null sec that was really close to low sec, so I could get fuel to the carrier eventually and then jump it into low sec in a single jump, which would be very nice. My idea was I was going to jump it through these systems. The anathema was also fitted with webs, so I could almost insta-warp the carrier, not super close, but a lot faster than it would normally. Normally it takes like 34 seconds to align. I could do it in like less than 10. Is the idea. It's make it work a whole lot faster than it would otherwise. So, when I tried, the anathema warped to the first hole within my wormhole. So I'm in my own wormhole. Then I had warped through another wormhole, I think, then to a nullsec. Those other 2 I'd scouted and the route's clean and open. There's no one active in any of the holes at the time. So I warped the anathema to the first wormhole, the first bridging wormhole. And there's nothing there. It's fine. I checked D-scan for both of them. Everything's fine. I align the carrier, wait till the carrier's fully aligned, jump the anathema through, and warp the carrier. The Russians have eyes everywhere. I tried doing this in the Russian downtime, so there wouldn't be anyone. I think it was like 3 or 4 a.m. Moscow time, or maybe it was like 8 a.m. or something Moscow time. I tried to do it in a time where it would be hard for them to bring people online to kill my carrier. So I warped through, and the anathema's already jumped through the bridging wormhole. And I'm sitting there, I'm kind of like watching the Archon warp because it's cool, because it warps slow, and the animations go by slow. You can look at all of them, and it's kind of cool. So, I'll look at that for a couple seconds. I'll look over at the anathema on my other screen, and there's a bubble around him. And there's a saber attacking him. Great. I need to save my anathema. Natural reaction. Start flying towards the wormhole, thinking like I can jump through the other side and get out. Hopefully he hasn't bubbled the other side. And I'll stop thinking for a second. Well, what if he doesn't know my carrier is coming? I need to fly away from this to make sure he doesn't follow me back through the wormhole and try to bubble my carrier, which is worth a whole lot more than the anathema. At this point, the anathema is garbage. I need to use it to get whatever time I can to get that carrier safe again. So I tried flying out of the bubble, just trying to get the saber to follow me. Saber blew up my anathema. I have a record of that too. It wasn't that expensive. I had a couple modules in it, nothing too much. I did have a Sister's Expanded Probe Launcher, something that's like 100 million is kill. But nothing compared to what the carrier was carrying. 36 times, 1/36th of what the carrier was carrying, roughly. So that wasn't fun. Now I'm moving back and forth between Dr. Awesome and Dem, trying to get them both aligned. Using Dr. Awesome's Anathema frigate, using Doctor to check in front of Dem to make sure that the way is safe for the more expensive. So this ship's worth way more than what the Anathema was worth right now. And Anathema is worth about 70 mil, and this Legion's worth 400, probably closer to 500 some odd million ISK. Because I'm carrying spare subsystems with me as well for a completely different fit. Lots of fun. But so the carrier lands on the edge of a bubble on the other side. Saber had already bubbled the other side of the wormhole. So great. Carrier turned around really fast. We're back to the boss. We're back to the boss. Nah. Go. I was freaking out. It was great. This is why you play Eve, so you can just get into these super intense situations and freak out. So the carrier gets turned 90 degrees. It's about maybe a third to halfway through its warp speed. You see Backdropsum's having fun over there. He gets about halfway up to his thing. So he's actually getting fairly close to being able to warp. Tengu and Cloaks in multiple points me. The carrier has 3 warp core stabilizers on at this point in time. Thinking like, you know, it's okay. If someone warps me a couple times, I'll be fine. I was trying to keep most of my tank up, just in case. I should have put more warp core stabilizers on there because I think he hit with the faction scram and a warp disruptor too. So that was 4 warp core points, and yeah, he was stuck. Which is bad. I was like, okay, this is the Russian downtime. This Tengu has me. I can't leave. I tried multiple times thinking like, oh, my warp core stabilizers will save me, right? And no, he's got more points than my warp core stabilizers nullify. So I was like, okay, I have a lot of EHP. I have a passive tank on. Logged as quickly as I could. As quickly as I can think of it, click, log. Ship had logged out. I was like, yes, that is good. All right, so immediately I logged on a third tune because the Anathema had already died. I logged on a third tune who was in the hole, and I warped them to a nearby planet and hit my D-scan, clicking up my D-scan. As soon as I landed and got on there, there was a Naglfar on scan, there was a Nidhogger on scan, there were several T3s on scan. I was like, really? They found people to come kill my carrier. So I'm sitting there, and it's got a 15-minute log-off timer because of capsular aggression. I didn't do anything, but he attacked me, so I activated the timer. So I'm sitting there just shooting away. It's nuts. They're sitting there, they're shooting away. I'm sitting there just spamming the scan button, trying to see if he's going to make it or not. Sure enough, 7 to 8 minutes later, Dem's capsule comes up, the Archon drops off scan, and on the next scan, the capsule was gone. So after that, I think I logged everything off. Yeah, I worked my guy back to the POS and logged everything off, and was like, okay, I'm not playing Eve for a while. That was an expensive loss. I did have to explain it to CEO. He's like, so you lost a carrier, huh? I was like, yeah. Yeah, I tried to get out, and yeah. They ended up making a last stand. And if I could have made it to the last stand, I had work that kept me from helping them make their last stand. But if I could have gone to that, I wouldn't have warped my carrier out. I would have tried to make a last stand with them. They lost several dreadnoughts in that stand. They tried to get most of the carriers and stuff out because we knew the Russians were going to bring stuff. Last time they evicted people, they brought like 17 dreadnoughts or something like that. And several carriers and tons of T3s, and yeah, they brought a force that we couldn't counter. Not even a hope. We tried pulling in other corporations and other alliances within wormholes. We got a couple people that they were rolling their statics trying to get to us. I'm not 100% sure how many people made it or not. We ended up losing. Everything got blown up. My POS, like 3 or 4 other people's POSes, and then the main POS as well, all got blown to pieces. Nothing's there anymore. I do have one tune who's still in there, so I'm going to make a video about that when he comes back. He comes out, and we'll expect that video here in the next couple of days. I'll wait until his training queue gets low enough for me to switch. So he's currently in the hole by himself. He's in an Interon Mark V. He has a prototype cloak on him and a, let's see, there's an Atron. Yep, little Atron's hanging out. We're going to try to fly out and around, no big deal. The other characters, like I said, Interon Mark V, prototype cloaks. You can only cloak while being stationary. Just about stationary. I mean, it's like 30 meters a second he can move or something like that with that cloak on. Or 20, I don't know. It's dismal. 10% of his normal speed he can fly with the prototype cloak. And it blew. No, I think it's Tech 1. He also has a core probe scanner. So he can scan himself out of that hole. He can find bridging wormholes and get himself out. This is going to be a lot of fun getting him out because those Russians are probably everywhere. So I'm going to again try to do it in the Russian downtime. We'll see if that works out or not because they really sieged us hard last time. But I'm going to try to sneak out, and he'll probably get blown up. But that's okay, because I don't care. I don't think he's carrying anything. Even if he's carrying anything, it can't be worth that much. I had... That POS must have been worth 500 million ISK. I had 800-something million ISK worth of stuff inside the modules inside there that I was not able to get out because it was just so huge. Lots of ice products and stuff like that for building POS fuel blueprints, POS fuel itself. Number of modules for flying my ships around. I lost all my ships, almost. There's like 2 ships that didn't make it, like industrial ships, but lost the rest of my ships in the carrier. Lost my Anathema as well. I did fly Malik's account out in his Tengu, which is Cloaky nullified and everything, and it got out just fine because I flew it out before the carrier. He got out fine, but the rest of us did not. Like I said, everyone else burned on the last stand. That's no fun. But that was about 2 weeks ago, and I've pretty much not been playing Eve for the last 2 weeks. I've been getting on, updating my skill queues. That's about it. I'm just getting right back in. In fact, this is the first day I'm back in. Again, our corporation found a new hole. It is a C5 Magnetar, and it's got a C3 stack instead of a C5 stack like the C6 did. So, we're using that now. I'm flying out to an entrance on it as a direct entrance through Nullsec so I can jump in quickly, which would be very nice. Aside from this, in the last 2 weeks, I've been playing a decent amount of Kerbal. Lots of fun. Love Kerbal Space Program. Love building things in it. It's so much fun. Get to build your own stuff, and it's a space program. It's so much fun. Space planes rock. Okay. Another game I picked up 2 days ago. Expect to see some videos on it because I'm doing okay in it. Every now and then I get a pretty amazing round. Other than that, I pretty much get popped right away because my strategy is kind of like allows that. It's called Robocraft. It is free to play on Steam. It's an early access game. It is, I mean, it's still an early access. It's still a newish game. It's an alpha still, but it's complete enough to play. All right. It works pretty smooth. The physics aren't like, you know, awesome on it. They're definitely playable by all means. There's not very buggy or anything like that. They're just not like the smoothest there is. When I say that, I mean it's like barely anything. So you can see Dr. Awesome's out in front here. He's warping around. He's trying to find out if there's any bubbles or anything like that. He just jumped in the nullsec. That's right. Alright, so I'm going to line him to the gate. I'm going to cloak him so he can see. You can check the directional scan. See if anybody's home. I need to scan further than that. Then when he... Hi. Atron, which is named Atron, which is probably empty. Reaper, which is claimed to someone's Reaper, so they're probably in it. Maybe not. Who knows? And then we have one person local, Dixieland. Not super worried. Might check their stuff here in a second. We'll see. So I'm going to warp Dem. I do believe I'm jump. Yeah, let's jump him. That'd be fine. So we're going to jump him through. I already clicked. He's been aligned. He's already cloaked. Safe to go. He's the only person this doesn't run with, but any dangers coming from this way. But we may need to worry about Dixieland on the other side. So we're watching him on Dr. Awesome's screen. Working pretty good. Anywho, we're going to be jumping in here. I'll be dropping off with you guys here in just a couple seconds. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Look forward to more videos. Definitely some with Eve. Looking forward to some Robocraft videos as well. I'll put a link for that in the description. Might even do a couple Kerbal videos. You never know. We'll see here. But no, Eve Online's home. Love spaceships. Love you guys. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. We will see you guys at another point in time. Also, we're not looking at posting every day. Probably like, I don't know, like a couple times a week though. Okay, bye.